This video gives an overview of the new project management tools available in DDM 2018.11 and is based on a clean installation of DDM. These new tools will be put in place for customers upgrading from earlier versions of DDM. However, DDM may require some additional configuration to provide full access to these tools, and this will be covered in a separate video. In this overview, we will cover four aspects of project management. Project attributes, referred to as RACI and RAG attributes, date attributes, time tracking attributes, and folder actions. So in this copy of DDM I have created some projects, but to look at how we populate these attributes we're going to create a new project. So if I look at creating a new project folder, then the number is allocated for me. We can give this a description and then click on OK, as we would have done before to create the project folder. In this case the project folder is related to a workflow, and so we need to select who the owner is at the first step of the workflow. In selecting this we have departmental groups defined, and in this case I'm going to select project management department, and I'm going to select myself as the project manager for this new project that we're creating, and so we can click on OK to complete the creation of our new project folder that is now assigned to the project workflow. On the project folder form itself we can see the RACI attributes. That means who is responsible, who's accountable, who should be consulted, and who requires information about this project. And we can populate those as we would have done before in DDM. So we select to edit the project folder, and as I'm the project leader I'm accountable. It may be that we need to set the sales department for consultation. Note we can select department or user, and for information it may be that we're going to make the QA department require information on this project. Down at the bottom right here we have what are called our RAG attributes. So RAG stands for red, amber, green, indicating if something is on schedule or not. So it's using a traffic light system. If it's green it's good, if it's amber it's a warning, and if it's red then it's something that needs addressing, so something's going wrong. As this is a new project they will all start their life on green. Our date attributes, we have a start date for the project. It may be the same day that this is created, or it may be something that we're going to start at some point in the future. In this case I'm just going to take today's date, and the due date we're going to set to the end of January. So in addition we have a callback date that allows us to set a reminder as to when we need to come back and review this project. So in this case I'm going to assign this to 2 weeks time, to remind myself to come back and review this in 2 weeks time. Now these attributes are available against all folder types and against all folder actions that I will cover in a short while, and the callback date is useful on a folder action for something such as a task, for something that might have been assigned to us to act as a reminder to come back and revisit it, because it may be we've been assigned something but we can't progress it because we're waiting for information from someone else. So let's just complete this. So we'll click on OK, and if we close this window and refresh our search results, we've now got our new project listed at the bottom of our list of projects. You'll see the callback date is available, the due date, and we can sort by any of these columns. And so if we look at the callback date we can see how effective this is now, because we can see that the one where the callback date has passed has turned red. Now if we've progressed this project then I can update that callback date directly from the search results, and let's push it out by another week. And it may be in updating that we've identified that we're coming back on schedule, and so we may reset that to amber. So we've got very clear visual indication of our projects, and it allows us to track them in a much more effective way. So on the project we've just created, what we haven't started to do is to allocate time. So let me open this project again, and in this case, if we go to the time log, we can allocate time to this project, and let's say that we're going to have 40 hours overall time allocation for completion, and so that time is allocated. So I can log time, and we can do this from different places. So I can do it by right clicking in this time log area. There's a time log here, or against the main search results. It might be that I log time here, and maybe I've spent 2 hours on project specification. And if we just update that now, we can see on the project that we're looking at, there's 38 hours remaining. Opening the project folder itself, we can see all of the time that's been allocated, so we have an audit of this time logging. So the next thing that we're going to take a look at is actions. So if we have a look at the Actions tab here, there are a number of out-of-the-box predefined folder action types, from requirements to opportunities, all allowing us to register different types of actions against our project. So for example, we might want to define a requirement. So if we select requirements, we can add a description. Our control unit, for example, must meet IP56 rating. If we click on return, our new requirement is created and registered against the project. If we look at the contents of the project folder, here we can see our requirements, and we might want to organize our requirements into the relevant project divider. If we just minimize this and go back to the main search results, then again we can see our requirements at this level by drilling into the project folder. If I come back to the project folder itself, it might be that we recognize a new opportunity. So while we're working on this project, we identify an opportunity for a new project based on something we're doing in this project. So we don't want to lose focus on the project that we're working on, but we do want to recognize and register the new opportunity that can be reviewed at a later date. In this instance, we're going to create a simple task and assign it to a user. So we're going to take a task, and the task in this case is going to be develop test specification. So again, we just simply hit return to create the new task. Now at the minute this has not been assigned, it's still owned by the project management department. So if I want to assign this to a user, I can right click and say assign to. In this case, I can select maybe someone from the engineering department, so we can look by department and we can select the user that we want to assign this to, and we can add our comments here. If we're assigning it to someone else other than ourselves, then it will automatically tick the box to notify by email so that the user is notified that this task has been assigned to them. If I come back to and send it to myself, just for simplicity, then I can add comments here and click on OK. And the task has been assigned, but it's not yet started, so you see the task has a status. These folder actions are themselves folder containers, and so I can open this and I could start to develop my test specification inside this action folder. In this case, we're going to go back to our main search results, and we're just going to refresh this, and against this we do now have a new task that has been assigned. Now in our search type area, we can search against all different folder actions. So if I'm looking, for example, against requirements, then I can see all requirements. As a user, I'm more interested in the things that have been assigned to me. So in the favorites area, I can see my actions list. And if I look at my owned actions, then I can see this task that's been assigned to me that's currently not started. I could also see group-owned actions, the things that I'm a member of the owning group for. We can pin actions, and it may be we want to look at all actions that we're accountable for, and right now none of these are defined. Now this is a dynamic list, so if I look at my owned actions, it might be that as I start to work on this test specification, I'm going to change the state of this task to in progress, and so it's clear that this is in progress. And again, I can set a callback date as I mentioned earlier. So if I click here and say I want to send myself a reminder in a week's time that I need to review this task, then I can do this here. But I mentioned that these are dynamic, and what I mean by this is that once I've completed this task, then it disappears from this list. So as tasks are assigned to me, this list will grow, and as I clear those tasks, then this list will shrink. If I just come back to the project folder, and if we come to the workflow, then you'll notice that if I send this to active project, we have two selections that we can make here. The owning group, which will be configured by department, and so if I look at engineering department as we did before, I can select who I'm going to assign that to. So at an admin level in DDM, you will have these departments, and you need to make sure that the right users are assigned to each of these departments. So this video is intended to give you an overview of the new project management functionality within DDM, some simple tools that give us clear visibility of our projects and their progress.